Now let's start entering some data into our worksheet. There are two types of data that you're going to enter generally into a worksheet. There are labels, and then there are values. So the labels are text that describes the data, and the values are the actual numbers or lists or whatever you need it to be. So let's start by adding in some labels. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select B1, and I am going to say that this is tickets sold, and then I hit tab to go to C1, and I'm going to say ticket price, and then I'm going to hit tab to go to the next one, and I'm going to say revenue, and then I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to say expenses, and then tab one more time, and this is going to be profit. Now over here on A2, I'm going to write January, February, March. Now, so these are my labels. I can tell that anything in column B is going to be tickets sold. Anything goes down from there. I can tell that anything in row 2 is going to be January. So anything that I see in, let's say, column C for row 3 is going to be the ticket price in February. Okay, so that is entering my labels. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start entering some data. Okay, so let's say that the ticket price for every single month is exactly the same. It's $8.50. Okay, so $8.50, $8.50, $8.50. Now I can use copy and paste, just like we learned in Word. I've got the same functionality here. It does act a little bit different when you're dealing with what's called formulas, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But when dealing with just numbers or labels, copy and paste works exactly the same. But I'm going to take a little digression here and talk about something that I could have done both with these months and with these numbers, and that is something called sequences. So if I come here, I'm just going to go down kind of the middle of my spreadsheet so I don't get in the way of what we're doing here, and I'm going to type an 8. Now I'm going to select that 8, and if you look in the lower right of my selection box, there's a little blue square. If I click on that and I drag down, you'll see that it's going to put an 8 in any squares that I drag down to. Okay, I also could have dragged to the right. In any cells, it gets the 8. But let's say that I did an 8 and then a 9. Now I'm going to select both the 8 and 9, and I'm going to grab that little box and I'm going to drag it down. And look at that. You can see I get a little tooltip. Now I'm on 16, 17, 18. When I let go, it fills it in a sequence. So I can use that little box for copying and pasting really quickly, or I can use it to do sequences. Now sequences aren't just for numbers. If I come and select January, February, March here and start dragging down, you'll see that it's April, May, June, July, August, as far as I want to go, and it'll fill them in. It'll do days of the week. It'll do sequences by 2s or by 3s or by 10s. Any sort of sequence, as long as you've got two or more of them already filled in, then you can drag that box and it'll fill in for you. Or if you've only got one thing or they're the same, then it'll copy and paste it. So again, I could have just written 8.5 once and then clicked that little box, dragged it down, and put them in place there. Okay. So I've entered my label. I've entered my ticket price, which is the same every single month. Now I'm going to enter how many tickets I sold. And I sold, let's say, 9,000 tickets in that first January, in that first month. So in order to continue filling this in, we're going to start learning some formulas, how to do some math in Excel, and that's what we're going to do in our next video.